50 years of professional surfing. In 2026, we've come such a long way since those humble beginnings 50 years ago. And a finals day upon us here at the longest running professional surf event, the 57th edition of the Ballito Pro, as we get a view inside the Red Bull athlete area. Preparation, focus, and big match temperament is going to be required here as finalists arrive to take home the first win on the World Surf League's Challenger Series for the year. The Ballito Pro proudly presented by O'Neill. And that man Wesley Dantes taking on Cole Hauschman on the women's side. Teresa Bonvalo, Francesca Vasalka, two Portuguese ladies for the first time in history of the sport in a final of this magnitude. The beautiful KwaZulu-Natal region here on the east coast of South Africa has opened its arms to many of the world's best as we are in finals day here in South Africa. It's a good morning. It's a Sawabona greeting from the land of the Zulu, the KwaZulu-Natal region. Gig Saliers alongside Kai Linder, former championship tour surfer, getting to see both sides of the experience. Greg Emsley. It's a good morning from all of us as we are on the edge of our seats ready to get finals underway here. And what a stellar Ballito Pro of 2026 it's been so far.
Yeah, it's been absolutely epic. Everything's come together so well. We've had fantastic run of swell, but not only that, the winds have just been perfect offshore in the morning, going glassy in the afternoon. It's been epic. It's been a long week of surfing. We've now got to the top of the peak. It's time to enjoy the view.
Kai, of course, just delaying that start this morning. You looked at conditions yourself along with everybody involved and just looked at quite a high tide just before 7 a.m. Now local time just after 10 a.m. That tide starting to drop out. We know how much Ballito likes those sandbars when it starts getting into the lower part of the tide graph.
Yeah, I was out there this morning and, some of the bays next door are a little shallower, so they're breaking on the high, but the main bank needs a little bit of drainage. I think when we went to that last shot now, you could see there's a little bit more action in the lineup. The good news is that King Dantas Air Left on the far end of the bank has been running, so I think that's going to be back on today.
Let's go down to Mark Frew down at the beach for the update.
Thank you, Giggs. The update from the beach is that it's absolutely packed. We got the biggest crowd of the whole 2 weeks on the beach. I've got Travis Logie down here with us. Travis, what a morning for finals day of the Ballito Pro.
Couldn't have asked for better. Not a cloud in the sky. The waves are pumping. We've had 8 days straight of pumping waves. It's kind of unheard of anywhere else in the world, so no-brainer. Finish off the finals today. We're going to go women's first, 40-minute heat, then a 5-minute break, and then the men's finals straight in, another 40-minute heat. Great way to finish the event.
Travis, we waited a little bit for the tide to drain. There is a lot of energy out there, still some 4-foot sets perhaps. What are you seeing in terms of conditions?
Yeah, there's still hardly any wind at all, just a slight puff coming from the north. It should stay light all day. And right now we just hit mid-tide, and it's improved all morning, so it should just get better as we go.
Epic day down here in KwaZulu-Natal. Back to you, Giggs.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Right on cue, as we said, beautiful set up here in Ballito. Again, as we say, a stellar edition of the Ballito Pro as we look to the women's brackets here. Of course, Francesco Veselko in the final, taking on Teresa Bonvolo. Francesca getting past Ariana Chawa in the semi-finals yesterday. On the bottom side of the draw, Teresa Bonvolo getting Sol Aguera. A couple of standout names there. Sierra Kerr all the way to a 5th place finish here for the first Challenger Series stop. Also notable there for Bella Kenworthy and Eden Waller.
Yeah, Giggs, but it's pretty interesting. A lot of CT names kind of missing in that last few pieces of the brackets. So some of the younger surfers really putting on a big charge this year at Ballito, starting off the Challenger well. And looking at these two, obviously, Kika, she's kind of been a little bit higher on the World Tour rankings and stuff, so she's got that experience. And also sort of a battle of two very contrasting styles. Kind of liking Kika in these conditions. She's a little bit more maybe like radical and flary, and I think the wave's going to be a little bit more difficult today, so you're going to have to bring that little spice.
It is finals day, and we are underway here in Ballito to crown champions, both men's and women's. It's the women's final underway here, and all Portuguese final here is first to the lip. Getting the scorecard moving is the 22-year-old Francesca Veselka out of Carcavelos in Lisbon, Portugal. She takes on fellow countrywoman Teresa Bonvolo, now 26 years of age, from the beautiful Cascais. Of course, both of those towns in that beautiful Marginal area, and Estoril, all those beautiful parts of Lisbon, a wonderful part of the world, and certainly both of these surfers with that representation here for making history in the finals.
Yeah, and I said she's got that little bit of a spice factor. That was a nice way to start the heat. Just took off, clean off the bottom and attacking the lip line. Going to be a decent score to start things off. She's one of the few natural footers that's been really being able to get those one maneuver scores in this week. We've seen the goofies with like a slight advantage, being able to really like push the tail out the back, but she has been one of the few natural footers doing the job on the single maneuvers. And I think 4.0, I think the judges are going to definitely hold back on the scale a bit. It is a final, but she'll be happy with that start.
Greg, it's been a week of breaking down everything. It's been so fun on the heat calls and been listening to your analysis here. Of course, this is a discussion of forehand versus backhand, which has been a theme all the way through the event.
Yeah, it's it has been a big theme. Of course, kicker is the only natural footer left in the event in the finals. So we'll see how this pans out. Another interesting note is the only time you get to actually surf a 40-minute heat would be a final. So in your career, there's a very few opportunities to actually surf a 40-minute heat. And I would imagine training, you would almost never train a 40-minute heat. So it's a lot of time. Mentally, you could get lost in the time. So it's interesting to see how the surfers approach this. Of course, there's no maximum wave, so you can catch a whole lot of waves, but it's quite an interesting setup and how you manage that time.
But gentlemen, back to the judging criteria. It has been heavy lipped waves here in Ballito this year, and there has been quite a few heats where we've discussed the advantage of the backhand pivot in the lip for perhaps some advantages.
Yeah, when you hit it on the backhand, of course, it's quicker to rotate. Get your bodies facing the beach. You can get that board pointing towards the shoreline a lot quicker. And, of course, then you get the easier ride out. On your forehand, when you're facing the wave, you've got to sort of twist over your body, and it's a bit more tricky to get that board facing the beach. And generally, I spoke about it yesterday, the surfers are not looking for the waves that maybe you and I would look for in the free surf, the beautiful tapering waves. They're actually looking for a bit of heavy water, something that's got a bit of spice down the end for that big closeout turn, because that's been where the scores have coming from. It's been very heavily weighted in that big major finish.
And just to continue talking to the goofy foot versus natural foot discussion, all four men's semi-finalists yesterday, so the top four left on the men's side were goofy footers. And of course, that is the theme for the up-and-coming men's final, 36 minutes away. Cole Hauschman taking on Wesley Dantes. But on the women's side as well, certainly Teresa Bonvolo will be one to use her backhand here. We saw European surfer, the Spanish Ariana Chawa, as well on her backhand all the way to the semi-finals for a personal best for her. But right now, that theme will continue as you see these beautiful scenes of a warm Indian Ocean here. The water temperatures around 22 to 23 degrees centigrade. That puts us at around almost the mid-80s Fahrenheit. Of course, beach temperatures much the same. And certainly the beaches, again, are packed in 2026. And what a perfect place to be for this time of year. All part of a big 2-week festival in and around this Challenger Series event.
Yeah, Greg, it's been incredible. Skateboarding, live music, food, just all going down and everyone having a great time. School holidays in South Africa as well. But what I got to say to you, I went for a little paddle this morning. It got delayed, so I thought, oh, I'll get a little bit more time in the water. Then they made the call. I came in right at Bathers, right where these ladies are sitting now. And when I got to the beach and looked up, I almost got like a bit of a fright because there are so many more people on the beach this morning. And I literally had to sort of pick and weave my way through the families on the way up to the deck. So the word got out, and I think the whole of Ballito and surrounding areas, all the holiday makers have made their way down here. It's a real festival atmosphere.
Well, of course, we'll see an opening ride now from Teresa Bonvallo, who will use a priority. We spoke of the impact of the backhand turns here. So the opening theme of discussion is we have now a score apiece being set up. Veselko's forehand turn for the 4. Teresa Bonvallo on the backhand, perhaps a little bit more energy and impetus.
Yeah, that was a very vertical turn from Teresa. Watch this beautiful looking wall straight up. She really set that well. And, you know, she's been building in this competition. She's had to have a lot of tactical heats to make it through. But right now, her surfing form looks like it's spot on. And I think she would have really enjoyed the feel of that turn. She set it up well. She got vertical. Her timing, her placement was spot on. And that looked really dynamic. So that's going to be a really good tone setter for this heat. Of course, they're going to look for more. They want those 2-turn combos. But definitely, let's see who's going to win this first exchange here.
Also, wave selection perhaps for Teresa Bonvallo, just a cleaner opportunity to get that first turn in.
Yeah, and that was pretty effortless as well. Like, she didn't look like she was having to strain to get there, you know. It was just nice and fluid and smooth. She really did flick the board up nice and vert as well. So I think that's going to be a decent start for her. The Portuguese team sitting there, they don't know who to shout for because, of course, we've got 2 Portuguese surfers in the water. So either way, they're winning today. But it's going to be good to see who's going to pull it out on top. Like I said, 2 very contrasting surfers. Slight edge to Teresa there, 4.83. So the judges were rewarding that maybe slightly better wave quality. And like I said, you know, just getting that board nice and vertical.
Waves on the way here. On the way back out, Teresa Bonvallo under the priority of Francisca Veselka. And that perhaps a strategic error early on from Kika. Just allowing the priority to slip back to Teresa Bonvallo, who got the advantage by a little bit in that first exchange, Greg.
Yeah, I think that's fair judging. I thought that was pretty much set the scale for the day and competition. And yeah, they were just the single maneuver. So let's look at Kika's first one. Sets up close to the rocks, connects it well. A nice strong section. A bit of bump on that wave, so it was tricky. But this wave from Teresa, how clean is this wall? Straight up, lots of spray, and just a bit of a cleaner turn, nice and vertical. But yeah, not 0.83 between them, and yeah, it set the scale. It started the heat, but you would think with still lots of time on the clock, both those scores probably won't be counted by the end of the final.
Both young Portuguese surfers, 4 years separating them in age. Of course, a very quick trajectory to the top of the sport for Francisca Veselka into the championship tour of 2026. But she does find herself here now starting to lean on the months ahead for the Challenger Series, of course, with the intention of finishing in the top 6 to reassure herself for a 2027 berth at the championship tour level. Of course, a slightly different story for Teresa Bonvallo. They both have had the experience of winning Challenger Series level events back in 2022. Teresa Bonvallo getting a win at the Sydney Surf Pro over Nikki van Dijk. And of course, last year, the very opening event in Newcastle, Kika Veselka getting that win. So they both know that winning feeling. A much perhaps longer career in the jersey for Teresa Bonvallo. We look all the way back to a very tender young teenager who got a wildcard invitation to the championship tour, back then the Kashkash Women's Pro, in and around her hometown, when the greats like Stephanie Gilmore and Carissa Moore were really starting to get into full flight. And she's been a number of wildcards over those years. And the best she did get was a 9th in 2017, in the year when Nikki van Dijk won over in Guincho in Portugal. So a lot of experience. Francisca Veselka, much younger, quicker trajectory. She really dominated a lot of the events on the Challenger Series last year. 3rd in Ballito as well for her, but that win certainly at the start of the Challenger Series, really setting up her momentum for qualification.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a story we can look at over the years, Gigs. Ballito has always been a stepping stone event. It really has become that event on the Challenger Series. And even before that on the QS, like, I would say 90, even maybe slightly higher percentile of winners at this event have always ended up going on to the championship tour.
And Greg, a perfect example, last year's win on the back end for Nadia Erastaba, setting her up, and she really has brought great form to the championship tour jersey in 2026.
Nadia's been amazing. I mean, she was such a standout. Yeah, last year, those backhand turns is a major weapon. And I think she's going to just continue doing really well on the championship tour. I think she's a major threat, especially in those big right-handers. You don't really want to draw in a heat, in my opinion. And on the forehand as well, she's got good power. And I think it's this is the event that really set her up and actually introduced her to the world as well.
Well, it is finals day here in Ballito for the World Surf League's first Challenger Series stop. The beach is absolutely abuzz. Let's go down to Mark Frew.
Thank you, Gigs. I'm down here with Josh and Sierra Kerr. Of course, we saw Sierra's movie the other night. We also saw her performing and getting some really high scores, a 9 or so in the event so far. Sierra, how did this event go for you? What are your thoughts and what can you take of the event and your performance?
Yeah, I mean, I had heaps of fun. There was a lot of swell this comp, which was pretty unexpected, so it was fun to showcase my surfing a little bit. Bummed at how I lost, but hopefully keep it going into Huntington and, only get better from here.
And looking to Huntington Beach, taking the result that you had here, are you looking forward to going across to Huntington and then continue a bit of run of form here in the Challenger? Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not too far away from my house there in Cali, so it's kind of a little bit like home, and it'll be nice. My parents will be there, and I'm super excited for it. It looks like there's some swell on the long-range forecast, so maybe we're just keeping the swell going for this Challenger Series. Sierra, looking at the final in the water now, we got 2 Portuguese ladies matched up against each other. So either way it goes, we're going to have a Portuguese winner. If you were in this final, what would your strategy be out there, and what have you seen play out from these 2 ladies so far? Yeah, I mean, I haven't been here for long, only maybe like 5 minutes or so, but Teresa just got that one turn like 4.8, so I think if she can get 2 of those or just even a bigger version of that, then that's going to be pretty good. There's not too many good waves. It's a little bit slow, but when they come, they're really good. So just wait for it and smack it. Well, let's hope that a couple more waves do come through and enable her to do that. Thank you, Sierra, for your time, and good luck as you travel across to Huntington Beach in the USA for the next Challenger. Thank you. Appreciate it. Back to you, Gigs.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Of course, a quarter-final finish for Sierra Kerr. A 5th place, a reasonable amount of points for the opening stop of 5 opportunities on the Challenger Series.
I loved that interview. How well spoken and what good insights from Sierra. I thought that was fantastic. So well done, Mark, as well, for finding Sierra and giving us those insights from a competitor. And she's amazing, but those insights, she's spot on exactly what needs to happen. Find those 2-turn combinations.
Just doing it.
Yeah. Are we ready for some interesting stats on this?
Well, before we go to any stats, let's just talk Sierra Kerr and her movie, all part of Red Bull nowadays.
Listen, Gigs, I mean, we've been frothing in the booth every time that the teaser comes on the webcast, just because the soundtrack's so good. Went and did the launch, watched the movie with her, and it's incredible. Like, honestly a game-changing piece of surf cinema for just the culture, for surfing, and especially for women's surfing, like really stepping it up. It's incredible. If you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a favor.
Well, talking of women's surfing, the final here in Ballito continues. That one just coming adrift for Teresa Bonvallo's second ride of this final here. And that'll hand the priority back to Francisco Veselko, who's going to just want to sort of make amends for letting her second wave score opportunity drift. And just like that, we're down to 25 minutes. So 15 minutes already gone here, gentlemen, in the ladies' final. The Indian Ocean perhaps just a little slower here. We think of the surf conditions that we've had from opening day. Of course, thundering waves in the lineup for the QS 2000 in the build-up to this. And even the O'Neill Smith Shapes Rookie Rippers, all those, the junior events, the JQS. Ballito has just had a stellar season. It's pretty on page here, but just a little slow, and maybe the rhythm is coming back now for the Ocean and for Teresa Bonvallo. Another useful hammer in the corner. Beautiful, translucent, clear water. She'll just try and hang on to this. And, well, maybe that second turn just coming adrift, but certainly another exciting backhand pivot in the lip.
I liked that wave, and it was beautiful, and she really did well on the first turn. Just looked like she tried to push a little too hard off the bottom turn coming out of that first turn. We'll have a look here. You see her takeoff, just waits for the section. Nice little flick up. Watch here, she just kind of bogged out of that bottom turn, and it caught her up a bit, dragged a bit of speed, Greg, and then just couldn't get through that second turn.
I reckon that wave was so perfect and so clean, and the water's so clear, with that sand underneath it, that you almost couldn't see where to go on the wave. Like, it was so bowled out, it was like hard to judge where the lip was.
Almost to read what the surface of the wave is doing.
Yeah, it looked exactly like that. It was amazingly perfect. And I really did. If you were on that wave, the glare and that would have been tricky just to find that right spot. And it did bowl out a lot. But Teresa's looking really good. She's going to want to find more waves like that.
The Pro Bally insights from Greg Emsley.
A little over 23 minutes here in the final. Let's have a look at that, because a lot of speed as she went through this first backhand hit.
Yeah, so glassy. And then right there, you see how bowly it is and clean. And almost it was super scooped out. So her board also didn't quite fit into that scoop. So maybe catching a little bit with all that bowled out clean water.
Absolutely crystal clear visibility, a care of the Mozambique current, just bringing tropical water from the regions of Madagascar, Mauritius, Reunion Island. All that warm water makes its way down here to this east coast of South Africa region. Crystal clear, so many ocean activities, lots of angling, lots of rock angling, fishing, a lot of people on ski boats, and of course so many other uses for the Indian Ocean in the area. Strong ocean, open ocean swimming community here in beautiful Ballito and its surrounds. Of course, some of the world's best surf ski paddlers, the names like the McGregors, and even big wave world champ Grant Twiggy Baker calls this place home. And just such a beautiful part of the coastline.
Look, Giggs, you're going to laugh at me.
I do that often.
I know you do. But, well, let's watch this quickly, because this could be a counter. It's looking like a nice little wave running down the bank if she can get in it.
Under the priority, wave drawing off the bank for Teresa Bonvallo, who continues to try and push the scorecard open. Another very functional turn. Her previous one in at a 3.6, feeling maybe that maneuver there, even though it was under the priority, might just nudge her scorecard slightly ahead, Greg.
Yeah, that's probably going to be close to matching the 483 that you opened with. Another beautiful, well-placed maneuver. This is under priority as well. So this one stands up on the bank, sets up vertical, lots of spray again, whips that tail around. Beautiful rotation off the top. And it's definitely going to be right there, I'm sure, with that 483.
Just thinking of that first turn, maybe this last one we've just seen, perhaps even a little more intensity to the turn. See, either way, the judges will be having a look at replay. Let's have a look. They'll be doing this as well. They'll be analyzing everything. The judging panel will slow this down for our viewers.
Just drives off the bottom, really. She's really pushing the board hard into the lip, and that's what the judges are going to like. She's committing to the turn. So that's really nice surfing. And I mean, just look how pretty it is out there today. I mean, definitely the smallest day we've had so far, but I can tell you there's always a little bit of hidden grunt on this break. That sandbar is so shallow, and you'll duck dive what looks like a little 3-footer, and it'll absolutely just rumble you. So there's still some juice in the lineup, beautiful conditions, and these girls just, they had 40 minutes. They just got to hunt the lineup and find those really good waves that allow you to do 2 to 3 maneuvers. They are out there. You just got to look for them.
Slightly better score now in for Bonvelo, who nudges the heat a little further with a 5.5. Greg, comparisons, the opener of the 483, now the 5.5. Momentum in the right direction right now for the goofy footer.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, she'll be happy with that score. I thought that wave was ever so slightly smaller than the first one, but the maneuver was better. So judges looking at that, looking at how much spray there was, how critical it was, and going a touch higher. Back to my stats that I was talking about earlier.
You're just dying to get them out, Greg.
Yeah, well, the thing I love about stats and sport is it's very important. But in surfing, you can take all your stats and throw them out the window. That's the beauty of surfing. But so far, both these ladies have surfed 4 heats in this competition, and to get to the final. So Teresa's had a heat average of about 11.12. So that's about just over 5.5 per counting wave. And Francisca's been at about 12.12. So she's been on just over 6 points a counting wave. So a little bit of if they look at stats, a mental upper hand for Kika, but right now trailing in this final.
Lots of things to talk about here. It is finals day. We'll take a quick break from the women's final. Don't go anywhere. It's beautiful Ballito in South Africa.
Welcome to KwaZulu-Natal, the destination for all seasons. Nestled on the breathtaking north coast of the Zulu Kingdom, this vibrant town offers something for everyone. KwaZulu-Natal boasts several beaches that have been awarded the prestigious Blue Flag, guaranteeing cleanliness and safety for all visitors. Our inland region offers a world of adventure. Get your adrenaline pumping with thrilling activities like ziplining, hiking and off-road biking surrounded by the natural beauty of KwaZulu-Natal's landscapes. Kids will love our animal farm, getting up close and personal with friendly animals. Immerse yourself in history as you explore the rich heritage and legacy of great leaders like King Shaka and Chief Albert Lutuli. Conveniently located just a short drive from King Shaka International Airport and Durban International Conventional Center, making it easily accessible for both local and international delegates, with an abundance of world-class accommodation facilities, dining options and attractions nearby, you can truly make the most of your time in this magnificent region. KwaZulu-Natal, the heartbeat of the North Coast.
The 2026 Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill is brought to you by KwaZulu-Natal Municipality, official host and title sponsor partner of the Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill. By O'Neill, official presenting sponsor of the Ballito Pro. And by Corona Cero, made with 100% natural ingredients.
Welcome back to beautiful Ballito on the east coast of South Africa. The World Surf League's Challenger Series is first stop with a great finals day here. Surf fans, crowds, family, coaches, and everyone that has chosen to vacation in this beautiful region is really getting that summer vibe feeling, even though it is a winter in the southern hemisphere. It is a good morning from South Africa as we are crowning champions here at Ballito. A stellar edition of the 2026 event, and so many fun parts to it. Gig Saliers, Kai Linder, and former pro surfer, now analyst, commentator and coach Greg Emsley in the booth as we continue coverage here. We spoke of the stats of Francisco Veselka. And meanwhile, Teresa Bonvalo just trying to look for opportunities on the left-handers here, Kai.
Wow, going for the punt. The Wesley Dantas coming alive there. Not going to get a score, though. And yeah, how magical is this place? You just look at it, the water's crystal blue, it's warm. So many different people out in the lineup. And I had to laugh this morning, Gigs. I was paddling across from bathers around the bricks there at the top of the contest site. And I looked behind me, and I just see these orange and yellow things bobbing behind me. And then I paddled a bit, and I looked again, and they were still there. And I suddenly had this fear that the shark nets were following me. And I kept paddling, and I got blown out. And it ended up being a bunch of open water swimmers with caps on.
Well, everybody in and around the community here in the KwaZulu-Natal region enjoying the ocean. We mentioned all the different activities. We spoke of the beach, really alive and buzzing. Mark Frew's down there amongst it.
Thank you, Gigs. I'm Daniel with Guilherme Ribeiro. And look at what shirt he's wearing. He's got the Portuguese shirt on. So regardless of the outcome of the heat, we're going to have a Portuguese winner. Run us down what you're seeing in the heat through there.
Yeah, it's either way, it's a win-win situation. You know, we have both of the Portuguese girls in the final. I saw them both growing up in the national events. They have been doing lots of finals in Portugal. And yes, seeing them here in the main stage, competing for a slot in a WCT means a lot. And yeah, sadly has been not a very good finals in terms of waves. But yeah, I think there's more action to come, and can't wait to see them rip the next waves.
We're seeing a really strong push from the European region with a lot of great performances in this challenger so far. The Europeans going so far. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, we saw the same thing last year. The female side, we had a bunch of European girls qualifying for the tour, and yeah, this is the first stage in the Challenger Series, and they did the same as last year. So yeah, back in the days we had the European Storm with Jeremy and Thiago and Fred, and it's good to see that on the girls' side now. Definitely an inspiration for us, not only for the females, but for the male side too.
I saw Ariana Archer in the water this morning in the free surfs as well, and she was really pleased with her results, and she'll be making her way back home and then across to Huntington Beach. You guys also will be in Huntington next weekend, and excited for that?
Yeah, super excited for that. This is where we want to be. We want to be competing with the best surfers in the world. We're trying to qualify for the biggest stage of the competition in surfing. So yeah, can't wait for the next event, Huntington Beach. Looks like we're gonna have waves. So yeah, the Eurostorm will be there, and yeah, we're gonna give it all.
I've got one more question for you, but it's kind of a bonus question. Give me a tip. Who's gonna win the soccer tomorrow night?
Oh, tomorrow night. I don't know. We Portuguese are Ronaldo fans, so we don't want Argentina to win. So we're going for Spain, Eurostorm again. So let the Europeans win. Yeah, Spain.
Thanks so much for your time, and good luck as you head across the ocean to Huntington Beach next weekend. It's been great having you here. Back to you, Gigs.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Of course, all eyes on the World Cup taking place in the United States. All the surfing world, though, locked into here, the first Challenger Series stop of the year. 5 opportunities ahead. Of course, just now, not a long time to go before the second event, the US Open of Surfing, gets underway. Of course, tickets for the live music already. Tickets available there. It's going to be a massive celebration over in Orange County with the second stop on the Challenger Series. And surfers that have got results here are going to be wanting to take that momentum over to the second stop, and then surfers that perhaps have squandered an early start on the Challenger Series rankings, chance for them to make up and get some momentum here. This is the access route to the Championship Tour. First stop here in Ballito, with finals day starting to wrap up. That next stop, the US Open over in California, a new location for 2026 in São Sebastião in Brazil. Ericeira, the Portuguese, will feature heavily in that region there in Ribeira de Ellis, those right-handers, and then as the same as last year, we'll just end it again in Newcastle as we establish the top 6 on the women's side for qualification to the championship tour. Slightly slower final here with the rhythm of the Indian Ocean just slowing down a little bit. It is going to be a heat of decimals and smaller numbers, but it's small heats that are tight like this, Greg, that can just switch in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's a lot can happen in 10 minutes. Kika's been very, very patient. If you had asked me before this final, what's going to play out, I would have said Kika would have been hunting lots of waves, looking for lots of opportunities, and I would have thought Teresa would have been the one sitting and being more selective. That's been, how it's been playing out in the other heats, but it's actually the other way around, so that's quite an interesting point to note.
Well, we had a little wave here from Teresa, sitting a little bit wider on the bank. Gets a turn up and just not much happening on that, not much energy. She's had some good scores already, that 5-5, especially with that really hard hit to the lip on the backhand. Of course, Kika, we've seen her surfing so well during the event. Only 2 waves ridden, and while we were looking at that interview as well with Mike, we saw her kind of look at one and then decided not to go. So she's being very, very fussy out in the lineup, and that might bite her with how slow the surf is.
Well, the clock has marched on. We're well under the 10-minute mark, a little over 9 minutes to go here. It is a game of small decibels. We say that because we know that a surfer of Francisca Veselka in the red singlets ability to find a score does exist. We see her in the Championship Tour jersey in 2026. Not the best run in the jersey. She'll be focusing on this Challenger Series where we think back to the first stop at Bells Beach for a 9th place finish is her best result. Of course, 2 9ths at that highest level of the sport, Western Australia as well on the right-handers in Margaret River. We know her pedigree. We saw her blistering win for the first Challenger Series stop last year to set her up for qualification. As we mentioned, a 3rd place here in Ballito. And a very strong forehand attack. She is a well-accomplished surfer. Born in California, actually, was Francisca Veselka, and family moving over to Lisbon while she was a young infant, getting caught up in everything and the momentum of surfing in that beautiful country of Portugal. Of course, we think of it now. It was the Rip Curl Search as a championship tour event back in 2009 that found its way after a couple of multiple stops, including Indonesia, Arica in Chile. Prior to that, the first search event in Mexico. But once that CT search event got to Portugal, it never left.
Super Tubos. Why would you want to leave? Such a good wave. Really, some of the most entertaining heats over the last decade on the CT have been out there. So it's great for Portuguese surfing. It's such a growing scene there. It's such a wonderful place, 2 gigs. Like, the people are so nice. One of the most cost-effective destinations in Europe as well. So it's a brilliant place for people to travel to, and they've got so many waves, like so many.
Well, let's have a look at the forehand attack. It's taken a while to get this together. 2-turn combo. It is a very tight heat on paper. That first hit in the lip is going to go a long way to replacing a 0.5 in the lineup. We'll see and we'll speculate and break down where we think that score is going to land. Not sure what the surf fans at home are thinking. 7 minutes to go.
Let's have a look at this one. So she took off, builds it down the line. Nice whip off the top. Got a little court coming around that section, and that meant she was a bit late for that second turn. And Greg, you got to say, with your coach hat on, probably just needed to drive a little harder off the bottom out of that first turn.
Yeah, I think also sitting for so long, your muscles just go to sleep a little bit, right? And she just looked like she got caught behind on that wave. That first turn, really nice. Set it up nicely, got a lot of power and spray off it, but just didn't connect the rest of the wave. So I just don't know if it's going to be a good number in the scoreline. It's all going to be based on that first maneuver.
Well, more movement in the lineup here for the women's final in Ballito. That is a more powerful turn with a stronger angle. A little bit of a warble here through the mid-break. We saw it trip up Teresa Bonvallo earlier in this final. Francisco Veselka, though, gets a good hit to the lip again. You see the low tide conditions, water is dropping out, but it's a little trickier than perhaps what it might look to our surf fans. And certainly the ladies just doing their best to extract the prime opportunities in the lineup here as we move down to 5:45 on the clock.
Well, I like what Greg said, because on that first wave, maybe a little stiff, but nothing stiff on that turn there. She really attacked the lip line. Just unfortunate that little lump and bump got her. She almost got a little shampoo there on the way out too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they punish that score with that little sort of... her board sort of skipped out a little bit after that maneuver, but the maneuver was complete. So if you don't look at the rest of that wave and you just look at that first turn on that last wave, you've got to say that to me is one of the best turns of the heat. Vertical in the lip, she pushed that tail, her back knee was so low on that tail kick, and that was a dynamic maneuver. I'm almost thinking that, if they don't punish her for the little skip up afterwards, there were points left out on that wave, but that maneuver, great.
Well, the discussion leads to the question, was that the single best maneuver of the heat thus far?
I feel it was.
Let's have a look and see what the surf fans think. Strong angle changes, lots of power.
Teresa left it as well. Bang, just absolutely threw the board up. And like Greg said, she really pushed the tail out on that turn. She had pretty much ridden out of it. So I don't think she should be punished for what happened afterwards. She got a 4.43 on the previous wave. Not a bad score, building, getting the requirement down. Now it's going to be really interesting. And what I can tell you as well is the judges are really having a hard look at that. They're comparing it to Teresa's waves because they're taking quite an age for the score.
Well, they'll be thinking about how does that weigh up against the 5.5. We are waiting for another score in the lineup for Francisca Veselka. Discussions that it is perhaps her best maneuver. We think of the requirement of the 5.9. This one is going to be a clutch score when it comes in as we go under the 4-minute mark.
Sure. I'm really interested to see where this score goes. I mean, it could go there, to be honest, if you look carefully at how dynamic that turn was. But then you've also got to take into account wave size. You've got to look at Teresa's turn on that 5.5 was very critical as well. But the difference for me is Francisca really pushing on that tail and almost pushing the fins out the back a little bit on that turn.
Getting radical.
Yeah, exactly.
And right now it is gritty and growly in the lineup here as Francisca Veselka is trying to visit every opportunity. It is the right now priority of Teresa Bonvallo, both sticking to each other so closely in the lineup here, but judges are working on a score. Is it going to go to the requirements? We're waiting for opinions. We feel perhaps it could be Francisca Veselka's best score yet. It will be. It's a 4.67. It's going to come in short of tipping the lead in her favor. So Bonvallo leads with priority, under 3 minutes to go. Francisca Veselka has, however, reduced her requirements, a 5.66. That's well within the wheelhouse. And we'll see how both these ladies navigate the final 2.5 minutes.
Wow, and look at this paddle off going down now. They've seen these waves coming in right up top of the sandbar. And she's going to have to make her go on this one, surely. Oh, she's going to let her go.
Going to let her get away again. Bowley wave here. It's an in and out. Right now, Francisca Veselka is trying to break out of the grip of the priority of Teresa Bonvallo, who is now just a little over 2 minutes away from having the prestigious Ballito Pro crown placed upon her. Is she going to defend? Is she going to keep this heat clean all the way to the finish line? She'll join a great list of previous champions as well as we celebrate 57 years of professional surfing here in South Africa. This year, of course, the 50th anniversary of the World Surf League. Think of 50 years of surfing. What a story, how it's all unfolded, how it has evolved. And right now, that clock continues to tick as Bonvallo is on her way, perhaps, to the top of the Challenger Series leaderboard. We'll answer that in 90 seconds.
Yeah, it's almost like Kika just went a bit to sleep in the middle of that heat, and then suddenly she's woken up like, hey, I'm in a Challenger final here. I need to actually get going here. She only had 2 waves up until about 5 minutes ago. So now she's stuck in the priority circulation. She's going to have a look at this one.
She's going to break away and use a left-hander for the first time in the final. It's got a little opportunity. Now the wave hits a little bit of a twist and a wobble. And just like that, we are down to the 1 minute mark. The women's final starting to draw to a close here in South Africa. The first Challenger Series result is about to print out on the women's side. And both of these ladies have won Challenger Series events before. We speak of the more recent win for Veselko at the start of last year's Challenger Series. We go back to a win in 2022 for Teresa Bonvallo. Both of them consistent in the jersey. And here in 2026, trying to take a win. 30 seconds to go here in beautiful pictures on your screens. But right now, it looks like just nitty-gritty competing here for an outcome and a result. Teresa Bonvallo just sticking to her opponent. And you almost feel that this should just be a small moment here, and it is going to be a block from Teresa Bonvallo. And now, was that a sell? Is there another opportunity? Everybody watching the Indian Ocean here. The beach is on their feet, and the beach announcers are going to start wrapping this up. And we know it's going to be a Portuguese winner. It's just a matter of the name, and it is going to be Teresa Bonvallo who is going to take out the first win of 2026, gentlemen.
Wow, I got to say, I got that one completely wrong, but great performance from Teresa Bonvallo. She really just looked cool, calm, and collected in that final. She found the wave, she put the big backhand whips in, and at the end there really just put the pressure with the priority on top of Kika. So I think well-deserved win, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I look back at her event. Teresa's really taken this heat by heat. She hasn't looked at her competitors. She hasn't looked at stats. She's really been in her own zone, and she's worked hard for this win, and she's really studied this ocean well and made such good calls all competition long, and a very deserved winner here.
The discussion in 2026 has been the backhand attack and approach, the pivot in the lip, sometimes single maneuvers, making up the scores here for results, and certainly that has been the story here. Again, all the way to the finals. We saw it through the first rounds in well overhead surf on both men's and women's sides of the draw. Of course, big names like Cole Hauschmund and Wesley Dantes coming up next will continue that theme. But ever popular Veselko on the beach, but it is celebrations here for this lady on screen, and well-deserved in a very similar thing, a European goofy footer for a win again. Here last year, Nadia Aristaba getting that win, using that backhand so effectively. We think of the outstanding performance, multiple big scores from semi-finalist Oriana Chawa out of the region as well, and certainly momentum now with the US Open in mind.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I love what I've seen. Teresa's had a fantastic final. I like what we've seen from the younger ladies as well. That new school aspect coming into it, I think that's going to be a big talking point through the Challenger Series. And surfing seems to be on a tipping point at the moment, right, where a lot of the newer surfers are coming through. You know, are we going to see the youngsters take to the world? But Teresa's worked many years, and I think she's going to find herself as well back on the championship tour.
Got to say, just watching Teresa paddling in there, in the background off to the left of screen there, I just saw this little left-hander peeling off down the bank, and both of these ladies decided to really stick up to the top side of the competitor, the south side. But you know who's paddling out now? Wesley Dantas and Cole Hauschmund, two big goofy footers. And I just wonder if the boys aren't going to head down to that left-hander.
Well, lots of questions to ask with a men's final coming up. But right now, the moment belongs to Teresa Bonvallo. She's going to take the first Challenger Series stop of 2026 here in beautiful Ballito. The full 10,000 points on that ladder will see a step in the right direction. The end goal, of course, qualification and a finish in the top 6 for a gateway access to the Championship Tour of 2027. Stay with us. It's finals day here in Ballito, South Africa, as the show continues.
This new generation never goes outside. This new generation is lazy. This new generation needs to wake up. Wake up.
Big moment for this lady's career. Teresa Bombolo taking out the first Challenger Series event of the 2026 season. She is your Ballito Pro, presented by O'Neill champion. We were guaranteed a Portuguese woman winner, and Tay taking down Kika Veselko, two friends who have competed against each other for a really long time. And you can see how much it means to her, emotion pouring out of Teresa Bombolo. My name is Jessie Starling. I'm joined in the booth by Paul Evans and Greg Emsley. Greg, you got to call it. And those two, they're super competitive. And Kika was fighting till the very end.
Yeah, absolutely. She actually had the opportunities, in my opinion. She had the waves with two-turn combos. She'd get that one big maneuver, and it just looked like sometimes her board was skidding out a little bit and not connecting with the second turn. So some opportunities lost, but really well done for Teresa.
Yeah, I'm stoked for Tay. We're moving on to the men's final, and it's looking pretty stacked right now. We've got Cole Houshman and Wesley Dantes, our two finalists. Paul, your take on the men's final?
Well, what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force? Well, our men's final, essentially, Cole Houshman has been quality, just shown his class throughout. But Wesley Dantes has been on another level, performance-wise. He's been doing crazy, massive punts. His energy is, sky high. Can't wait to see how this one goes down.
Yeah, we've got that really traditional approach from Cole Houshman, and then that more progressive, big aerial maneuvers from Wesley Dantes. Interestingly enough, in the semi-finals yesterday, Jackson Bunch came up against Wesley Dantes, and you could see he was trying to beat Wesley at his own game. Do you see Cole trying to go boost to the air a little bit in the final here, Greg?
That's a very interesting talking point, because I actually spoke to one of the judges in the water in the free surf yesterday afternoon, and they reckon that air that Jackson didn't make, that crazy air that he went for, was incomplete. They reckon that would have been close to 10-point rides.
Wow.
Because it was so epic. But I think you've got to be careful of trying to match Wesley at his own game. I think you've got to stick to your own strategies out there.
Well, we're going to see Wesley look right. He's been looking left all throughout this event so far. He's going to step on the tail. Not much happening on that. Wesley is the ultimate entertainer. He has set that standard for himself this entire event. Where Cole Houshman, he's very calculated. With these conditions where we've got a dropping tide, so these waves starting to bowl up a little bit more. What conditions-wise, Paul, who is this favouring more?
I don't think there's a clear advantage to either of them, but the fact that we stopped yesterday and have come back today, I would say that's looking all right for Cole. I think Wesley would have loved to just keep surfing yesterday. He had his eye in, he was dialed in. He was incredible out there finding opportunities. I think if the final ran yesterday, I would have expected him to post a couple more excellent numbers, maybe even throw away some excellent numbers. Got to go back, debrief, and then bring it again today, and kind of like a cold start into it today. So I just think maybe that might have cooled his jets a little bit. For sure, he's going to fire it. You saw him standing on the tail on that, right, looking for a ramp. But I just think the fact that we're back again today might favour Cole with his experience, but let's see it.
Look how glassy these conditions are. First air attempt for Wesley goes complete. Let's see what this next section has. He's going to give us another air rev here. 2 airs. One wave, keeping that momentum rolling. He's got a smile on the beach, Paul Evans.
I think it might favour Wesley.
No.
Yeah, eat your words.
I'm going for Wesley now. To be honest, I was going to answer Paul by saying that I agreed, because I just don't know if that... I would have thought going into this, they've surfed 5 rounds of competition, and let's just watch this replay. And Wesley's got through with high risk. He's just been high risk the whole way through. And I love the fact that he's not changing that strategy. He's gone high risk again. You know, that's what's got him here. He's had a crazy heat average through 5 rounds. He's pretty much had an average of 15.11 heat total through those 5 rounds. That's a counting wave average of 7.56. And we saw him yesterday riding over 15 waves, and that worked for him. So if he rides another 15 waves in this 40 minutes, already he's going to get a good score. He's going to have a make rate that's pretty high, and I think he's got to stick with that strategy. I wouldn't change a thing.
I think it's really interesting to see what Cole does now, actually, because, you know, we've talked about his strengths and maybe calling his surfing traditional, sort of underselling it a little bit. I think it's quite a lot more than that. I think he's really, really cutting edge in everything he does. He's got an air game as well. Let's see if he's tempted into a similar sort of thing that Wesley's doing. I'm fascinated to see how he approaches this and answers back.
Yeah, Paul, your take on this replay?
Yeah, I mean, this is what we expected to happen. You see the elasticity, how acrobatic he is. And in both of these airs, there's a moment. See how high he gets that tail out in front of the section on the second one? That was really, really cool. Weren't those airs where you sort of going through the motion a little bit and looked sort of safe? There was sort of risk in both of them. Just wonder how it goes with the scoring as well, double air. We've been talking a bit about that with manoeuvres that aren't made and whether it takes away from the number. Do you get double the scores if you just done one of those? Do you add them together? And my brain is sort of overheating a bit trying to work it out. I guess the judges know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's such a tricky conversation because there's definitely an element of repetition that does tend to hinder an athlete, but Wesley is getting so much pop on his airs that they're so impressive. I loved yesterday when he threw an alley-oop into the ring. He did start to show a little bit more variety in his progressive surfing. But coming into this event, we spoke about it. This has been Wesley's storyline. He's the ultimate dark horse for anyone not coming from the Brazil part of the world. But when I chat to some of those Brazilian surfers, they really saw this result coming for him just with how consistent he's been throughout that qualifying series. But we chat about Dane Henry and his incredible make rate with airs, but Wesley potentially taking that #1 spot, Greg.
Yeah, it's been incredible, and the judges are really looking at this. They'll think about the airs yesterday, and they've got to be careful where they go with the score because he could have more in the tank. So watching this replay, let's have a look here. Sets up, hits it. It's not hugely high. That's more sort of projecting forward. He doesn't get the grab. Sets up again. The second one, smaller section, a little bit more tail high on the second one. So a smaller section as well. So I reckon they're going to keep the score. Okay, so there we go. It's under excellent, and I think that's good scoring. I was going to say the judges probably don't want to go excellent on this because they want to leave a bit of space in that scoreline.
Yeah, 783 first wave for Wesley Dantes. I'm very excited to see how Cole Hausman is going to answer back to this, what those power turns are going to hold in comparison to that 783. Someone who would be elated over the moon is Teresa Bombolo. She's starting off this season with a win, and she is with the Frubru.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm with the winner of the ladies. Teresa, you worked so hard after a number of injuries to get back to this point. You came into the event, you had to grind through so many heats. You've taken the win. How do you feel?
I don't think that I have any words right now. It's just been so much going on, and I'm just super emotional right now. And yes, I don't think that if someone told me that I would win this event, my first event since a while, I would say they're dreaming. But I just try to stay positive in a way to live day by day and try to be super present. And yeah, it's just unreal,
We had massive Portuguese support up on the deck, Guilherme, and everyone was wearing their Portuguese shirts, shouting for you. Give the folks back home some words in your own language.
É surreal. Passado 4 anos voltar aqui a uma final, voltar a ganhar Challenger, acho que é surreal e mais uma vez Portugal a fazer história, a meter pela primeira vez na história na final 2 miúdas portuguesas. De qualquer forma, quem quer ganhar, se Portugal ia sempre ganhar. Por isso, parabéns também à Kika. Não só a Kika, também temos aqui a Maria. E pronto, estou mesmo fora de mim com esta vitória. Tantas pessoas importantes à minha volta, quer perto, quer longe, e sim, só estou só a querer chorar. That's it.
Well, you're taking the full bag of points. Number 1 on the Challenger Series to Huntington Beach. You couldn't have got a better result on a beautiful Saturday morning here in Ballito. Well done on an epic week of surfing.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Ballito, for the warm welcome. It's always lovely to come here. We always feel super welcome, and it's amazing since 8 a.m. so many people on the beach to cheer us up, and I think that just makes it so much more special for us that are surfing in the water. So thank you so much, South Africa.
JC, she got so mobbed by autograph hunters and fans as she came out the water. And back to you from a very emotional glass down here on the beach.
Thank you, Mike. I actually did for a moment have tears start to come to my eyes. You can see Teresa, how much it means to her, how she had to hold on to hope as her fellow countrywomen both qualified last year for the CT. But to start the year off with a win for Teresa, she's looking really solid to join those women on the championship tour, Paul.
Yeah, she looks amazing, and she mentioned some of the sort of struggles she's had, and she has been her energy around events the last couple of seasons. I think she's waiting to make a step up. That hasn't really happened, so this is going to feel amazing for her.
Goes for a massive air for Wesley Dantes. Goes incomplete, but he's definitely going to keep that same role going of taking to the sky, trying to launch some really big airs. Greg, for Teresa, it's good signs. We've seen in the past people who have won this event are pretty well almost guaranteed to qualify. They go on to have a really good season. Could you begin to imagine what it would feel like to win the first stop and be going into an event so quickly as well to keep that momentum running?
Yeah, absolutely. That's it's such a big advantage. And I think the big thing for these surfers in that position is not to go, okay, well, I've just got to get to a round of 32. I've just got to do that. They want to actually aim for the win. Try and win the Challenger Series. That should be your aim, because you do have the advantage. And by aiming higher, you should easily qualify as well.
Let's get back to the men's final here. A bit of movement going on in the water right now, Paul.
We speculate about what Cole Hausman was going to do. How rattled is he going to be? Is this part of his strategy? So he's done a U-turn, actually, and he's headed over to this left because he's just seen Wesley Dantes have at it all alone. He can't use priority when he's not on the same peak. Cole, so he's just said, you know what? I think I'm pretty good on my forehand too. I like the look of these lefts. Let's go. So he's going to go over and get involved here, and it's about time he gets going.
Yeah, the first heat he made this year on the championship tour was at Raglan, looking left. He's going to tuck into a tube, travelling deep in it, but it's going to clamp for the explosion at the end there for Cole Hausman. So it's a no-make, but he's up and riding. He's had a wave. He's in this heat, and I actually don't mind seeing a little bit of competition on Wesley's peak, because no one has really been brave enough to paddle down to that left and apply some pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I reckon Matt Myers had his cap pointed to the left to say, move that way.
Sideways. Cool kid.
And we saw actually 2 tube rides going on in this replay. So Wesley having a look at the tube ride on the left. And then we did see, wow, Cole travelled. I mean, if there was a little doggy door on this thing, it would have been a massive score. Look at this wave. I like what I see. Such a perfect line. He did nothing wrong on that wave. It just didn't give him an exit. So here we go. Cole again, live action.
Oh,
wow, that is huge. Is that one of the biggest turns we've seen on these little lefts as well? I can't wait to see this matchup. Cole needs to, if he can match him turns and air, this is going to be epic.
Yeah, love that first turn from Cole Hausman. Incomplete on the second. That wave was starting to slightly taper, though. Something that we haven't spoke about in this final in particular is how big both of these surfers are. Wesley is throwing around a 6'4". Cole, you could say, is probably on a similar sized equipment. And Power has won this event on the men's side, Paul.
Yeah, we're seeing plenty of that from both of these. I just think we're seeing a lot of entertainment and variety as well. We've already seen a double air on the way. We've seen tubes going both ways. Wow. And then this kind of stuff, absolute blazing, pushing so hard on that tail. Didn't get the second turn done. But I just love the entertainment factor of this.
Yeah, we're getting barrels, airs, solid-looking rail carves. So both of these guys have that full bag of tricks, the entire repertoire. Wesley looks interested in this wave, starting to roll his way. He's not going to take it. Now, does the game plan change for Wesley here? Because he doesn't have this peak to himself anymore. He does have to share it. So does he start to get a little bit more particular with his waves and play into priority just a tad more, Greg?
Yeah, well, it will. I think it's a great move from Cole because it's going to definitely play on Wesley's mind now because he doesn't have it all to himself. He's not going to get all of those 15 waves to himself. He's probably going to get half that number. So, yeah, he does have the best score in that scoreline. That 7-8-3 is a huge asset for King Dantes. And he's got to be careful because there is a former king in the water with him, the king of Ballito. And King Dantes, he wants to make this his castle, but he's got to get past another king.
I don't want him to be careful. I'm not sure he'll be thinking too much about situation in the heat. For sure he'll know who's got priority, but other than that, I just think he's going surfing. That's the formula that's really worked for him throughout. I don't think he's worried about who needs a 6 or any of that kind of stuff. He's just seeing ramps, and he's like, if I do what I can do, I'm going to go 8s every time I stomp one of these. So, yeah, let's see plenty of that. Let's see Cole get involved as well. It's like a little bit of a stuttering start from him at this stage. I would have expected some more points on the board, given his caliber, just how well dialed in he is. He spent that 10 minutes or so on a different peak. Now he's come down and make it more of a kind of blow-for-blow type of affair. I think that's a good call. That priority with Wesley, of course. But just on emotional moments, we talked about Teresa before, and, her time over here, it will be special anywhere you get a win. But to do it in these kind of waves as well, and the sort of surf we've had this week, it's been unbelievable. We're really seeing the beauty of this place. We've seen some of these shots, how clear the water looks today. But just yesterday evening, Greg Elmsley and I, we were just having a little moment watching the sundown, and out to sea there were 2 whales, maybe like 200 meters out the back of the surf. Inland, we had the planet Venus in juxtaposition with a crescent moon, and we just kind of looked at each other and that was pretty emotional too. We were just like, wow, we're just buzzing on the natural beauty, mate. That was, how cool was that?
Yeah, well, to be honest, we weren't really that emotional. We were more smiling, weren't we? But yeah, this place is just so beautiful. I can't stop smiling all day. It's surf and commentate and enjoy great food and
I cried when I got home. I'm just saying.
Put it on the table. I love this bromance. It's definitely brewing every single year. Let's see what the Fruit Brew is up to.
Through a lot of heats. Thank you, Jesse. I'm down here in the Red Bull Athlete Zone with Paul Canning. Look at that ocean behind us. It's glassy Saturday. Thousands of people on the beach. It doesn't get better in KwaZulu-Natal. Paul, this is the culmination of 16 days of surfing here in Ballito Pro.
Oh, no, it's amazing. I mean, we couldn't have asked for anything better, When we first approached KwaZulu-Natal 8 years ago, our vision was to really include all levels of surfing in South Africa, from the young juniors through to the pro juniors, then the local South Africans on the QS 2000, and all culminating in the Challenger. So, everyone gets to experience this amazing festival of surfing, and this event has been just incredible. We've had 15 days now of unbelievable weather and waves, and we can't be happier.
Well, there's an update from the man who puts it all together. Back to you, Jesse.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Paul Canning. I've never met a man who smiles as much as Paul Canning does.
Well, you think Fruit Brew stoked this man on the beach. Hang on a sec.
He's got competition. My goodness, Paul Canning, he's actually got 2 really talented kids. They've been surfing over the last week, just getting immersed in this high-level entertainment. And it's actually really cool to see, Paul, just how many people want to be around the action. The beach is absolutely packed, and it's because of this guy. He's been an absolute entertainer all week. Loads up for a big ramp. Goes down again. So 2 incomplete airs for Wesley Dantes. But like I was saying, Paul, just the amount of energy that Ballito has brought to the table this week, it's essentially probably been one of the biggest I've seen so far in my 2 years here.
Yeah, an absolute crowd favourite, wasn't he? Maybe not one of the big names coming into it, but I think everyone on this beach knows his name by now. Just more of the same from him. We knew what was coming there. It was a bit of a smaller wave. Maybe didn't quite have the speed, but tell you what, he just uses those as a rangefinder. He'll just keep going with these tactics. He will stomp something big for sure in the next 21.5 minutes. It's just a question of what exactly Cole does. At the moment, not really massively involved in the heat.
Yeah, Cole just hunting around a little bit. You can see he's starting to paddle up and down the beach, so potentially slightly confused as he starts to settle his nerves here. We're going to settle ours as well with a quick break, and we'll be back to round out the men's final and the competition right after this.
This is peak summer vibes here. That is a launch.
US Open's like the mecca of all of Orange County.
The pier is absolutely packed. The beach, standing room only.
Deep. A new world champion. And when it's on, nothing comes close.
This coastline has put on an absolute show every single day of the waiting period this year at the Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill. The crowd has come down in numbers here this morning to watch our final 2 heats of this event and crown our champions this year. Wesley Dantes, he's moved up the peak. He's gone off that traditional left we've seen him love all throughout the week this week. He's essentially just caught that wave all the way back down. Not too much action happening during that break, but Cole is definitely forcing Wesley to think about his position in the lineup, Paul.
Yeah, a lot of energy. A little bit scattered from Wesley. What's that? Wave number 9 from him. Hasn't really added to his numbers since that double air that he did right at the start of this heat. So from Cole's point of view, still needs to do some scoring, but he hasn't really missed much in terms of opportunities and not getting involved. He will be identifying a certain type of wave, and I think he knows exactly what he needs in order to kind of express the sort of surfing that he does. I think he might have found one.
Here we go, Cole Houshmand on a bigger looking wave, probably the biggest we've seen in the men's final so far. Gets some speed, loads up, drifts that tail. Again, just the single maneuver here for Cole Houshmand, but the power, undeniable. The flow is incredible. It has a great amount of speed, which I know that Greg Emsley loves to see.
Yeah, that was incredible, actually. If he just gets 2 turns like that on a wave, it's going to be a huge score. I still think that's going to be a solid number. We... you know, he had, it was a big wave and one seriously big tail drifting maneuver. So that could actually, well, I think he's definitely going into first with that score, but looking forward to seeing how high they go on the scale with this wave. Watching the replay, sets up, speed for days, loads up off the bottom. Watch this drifting turn up off the lip. So that's one big major maneuver and definitely the biggest wave probably of the day so far. And he's back on the left.
Yeah, he's going to stay busy loading up. We feel an airs coming. Wow. Big old straighty with the completion for Cole Houshmand. He throws his hands up in the air. So Cole now trying to meet Wesley where he's at and where he's been. Paul Evans, yes, you did call it.
Just saying. Just saying. You call Cole Houshmand traditional. He's pretty cutting edge. We know he's got that. He's got a full bag of big tricks, a big power air as well. The big mon up in the sky, really high. This was cool. This is going to be a monster score. Loads up here. Only one thing coming at this stage. Blistering speed. Just a big ollie. So high. And he loves it. And let's just think about the number. A couple of judges threw 8s. Wesley Dantes is 7-8-3. Actually, 3 of our judges deem that excellent. So tell me this, Bigfoot Emsley. How excellent is that surfing?
Oh, well, the biggest thing when you look at the criteria and you look at the airs is height. And that was massively high. I mean, let's just watch this again. So he loads up so much speed, and then let's just, slow-mo. I mean, that is just crazy hot.
Christian Fletcher style.
Yeah, and it's just one huge straight air, which is a very technically difficult maneuver to land as well. So all that taken into account. I'm surprised the previous wave coming in at a 4.23. I thought it would have been a higher score than that. But we're going to put that aside and think about this aerial maneuver. It's definitely got to be up there in the excellence, right?
Well, he's absolutely going to go to the lead. We saw Wesley get a bit done here as well, Paul.
Yeah, kind of tossed one away and did really well to recover. Goes again. I think he needs to look for quality sections now. Hello.
Oh, no. Okay, maybe an equipment change here for Wesley. He's been on that same board all throughout the week. You can see he's going to make a moment in. We're assuming that Cole is going to go to the lead, but based on that last wave of Wesley, you've got to look at the scoreline. He only had a 1.2 as the backup. He's just landed another air reverse, so he's going to replace that. So Cole, depending on how big this number is, may need another wave, Greg.
Yeah, I think, look, Cole's definitely going to need another wave, and this is going to be interesting to see what this equipment does for Wesley. Is it going to perform as well as the board he's been on? It looks like he's going on to a bit of, possibly it looks like it's got a carbon base, maybe even a bit of epoxy. So that's going to be interesting.
Why is a finalist fiddling around with a leash during the final while seconds tick away? I mean, we've said this before, but surely you have a leash on your backup board.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. It's like watching those F1 cars and the tyres don't go on quick enough. That's what it felt like there. But there's a big number starting to roll through here for Cole Houseman. It drops in. It's an 8.9. Mike Frew, what do you make of it?
Together, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm down here with the Americans.
It's an 8.9.
They've just got the score.
So
it's an 8.9. I'm with Josh. Josh Menez, what did you think of that?
Oh, that's a crazy air. Honestly, I kind of thought it was higher compared to Wesley's other wave, but it's a big score. He's back in the heat. The boys are kind of sending it. It's pretty sick.
How's his strategy in this heat? Because he's had to go at Wesley with his own game. And you can see him loading up on that wave, so much speed. And what a massive...
Yeah, that's insane. Wesley's scary. He makes everyone kind of like surf out of your comfort zone. I'm sure Cole would have loved to surf this right down the beach.
It's a 4.7.
But yeah, this kid makes you adjust, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Jesse, we got a very stoked American section of the crowd down here. Back to you.
I bet. You've got to keep an eye on the Brazilians, though. Wesley is sneaky good at making comebacks in this heat. Last wave comes through, it's a 4.7, so definitely improves that 1.2 that he had in the lineup. However, needs a 5.41 to retake the lead off our American Cole Houseman. He's won here before. If he wins here today, he'll be the first ever surfer to win this event twice as a Challenger Series event. So a big statement that Cole has been making here year in and year out. A 4.33 is the backup score. You can't be feeling mega safe considering you have Wesley Dantes only chasing a mid-range number, Paul.
Just love the entertainment of this. I mean, if you came down the beach as a neutral and just wanted to watch good surfing, you're getting absolutely treated here. And we know the response from Wesley is going to be great as well. Here's another look at Cole loading up. Just the apex of that. He falls down out of the sky, which kind of adds to the drama of it. As soon as he clicked that landing, that white water just softened up really nicely for him to get the landing. I mean, that is a big frame hurtling through the air. I like the straighty. Is that harder to do than rotating? Yeah, possibly it is.
I think so. But I would like to see Cole just, do some big turns as well for his next score. He's done that air, but I love his turn so much as well. And I would love it not to just be an air game final. I'd like some big ripping turns.
Well, if you think about percentages, it is generally a lower percentage maneuver, and that's why advantage definitely with him apart from the score, because Wesley's going to continue to punt, right? That we know that's going to happen. He's going to go bigger than he has so far. So what he needs to do is up it again, and he's already thrown quite a lot at this, and in terms of where the score is, it hasn't worked. So he actually needs to go more of the same, kind of double down, which is riskier. But if he lands something, well, it's going to be really spectacular.
I think Wesley's going to want to ride waves again quite quickly because he's on new equipment, and straight away he's going to know how that new board feels and where he's going to be in this heat. It's either going to feel great and he's going to go, I'm back on, or he might take off and he goes, it's just not the 6 4 hours riding. So that's going to be interesting when he stands up on his next wave.
What a final.
I know, this has been epic. Just to have so much energy already from both of these surfers. I'm really excited to see this board of Wesley. Usually when you see a blackboard, you do think carbon. So maybe having a little bit more speed, potentially that equals more loft for Wesley Dantes. So this could be a blessing in disguise. We could see some even bigger airs than what we've already seen from him so far in this event. 11 minutes to go. Cole Houshmand looking a better at 4.33. Quickly took a wave there. That one did close out. So hands priority to Wesley. Is this a moment where your heart rate starts to elevate if you're Cole Houshmand, Paul?
Yeah, I'm not sure Wesley be too fussed about priority. I just think he wants a runner. As soon as he gets the left, the peeling left. Is Cole having a little scratch of his own though, but Wesley, as you said, Greg, he just wants to get in motion here and he'll want to throw some of these big airs.
Yeah, actually, Wesley having priority now might count against him because he's kind of got to wait for the next good wave where if he was under priority, he could have just paddled out there and gone on 2 or 3 waves just to feel the board out. But he's in that priority position now and he's got to match what Cole's doing, and he can't do that on a smaller wave with priority.
Yeah, obviously you got your 2 best surfers from the event in the final, but what we're seeing here doesn't happen at every event at this level. There is so much at stake. It's sort of forgivable to maybe just dial it back a bit and be a bit conservative. You look at the numbers in the women's final, what Teresa was able to win with, they were pretty modest, but I think we're getting the final we deserve. For the sort of quality of the waves we've had this week, I think we're getting a real show here. This will be one of the all-time great finals on the Challenger Series.
Oh, definitely. This has been mega. And I love how left field Wesley Dantes was for me. Honestly, when I saw that opening round, if I'm being completely transparent, I didn't even blink twice of thinking of Wesley Dantes getting into the final. I just hadn't come across his surfing or even known that he had so much potential. And when you chat to those Brazilian guys, they consistently talk about when he qualifies. They have so much faith in him of getting to that top tier and adding to that championship tour level as well. So Wesley, starting off the year incredibly well, whether it's a first or a second. We speak about the US Open. It is that next event. It's going to be big. Cole Houshmand definitely has reps there, but Wesley has proven that he's pretty good when the waves do start to get solid. Cole Houshmand trying to drop a 4.33. He's going to take to the air yet again. Unfortunately, goes down here for Cole. When you're trying to drop a 4, Greg Emsley, do you just play it safe potentially, or not play it safe, but go back to that traditional surfing on one turn to make that requirement harder, or you just keep pushing hard?
Yeah, not in the final. I think both these surfers know they're going to need a big score here to back their massive scores they've both got in their score line already. It's so one of these 2 surfers are probably going to get close to another 8, and whoever gets it's going to win the final. They're both going so hard. They're going to continue going extremely hard on their maneuvers for the rest of this heat.
Yeah, so just over 8 minutes to go. Like we mentioned, the 5.41 is that requirement for our Brazilian Wesley Dantes. He would love to add his name to an incredible list of winners here. Like we mentioned with Teresa, if you get a win here, it starts the year off really well, and there's essentially a 100% strike rate of qualifying for that championship tour with a win here at Ballito. Cole Houshmand looking to get the second win here, but Wesley, you can see he's trying to move up and down the beach. Both of them actually making them question their positioning. They both have the entirety of the final so far, Paul.
Yeah, well, the move from Cole has been the significant one, wasn't it? We saw him on the traditional peak. That's where we're getting this probably slightly bigger rights to offer him a chance to go massive backhand turns, and he mixed that up, came down to join Wesley. It's definitely working for him so far.
Yeah, let's go see what Mike Frew is doing in the Red Bull Athlete Zone.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm down here with previous event winner Ian Gouveia and the Brazilian crew, David Silva, also previous event winner. They're watching Wesley having a look at this wave.
Why? Now, let's go, Wesley.
Here he goes. Wesley Dantes winding up. He's going to look for a big ramp. Huge front side
So Ian, he fell on that particular turn, but how's the rest of the heat gone for Wesley so far?
Yeah, that's Wesley. He's not gonna try to do the 5. He's gonna try to do the 9s and 8s. So yeah, still right open the heat, and yeah, let's see.
Well, let's see if he can pull it back and land one of those big turns. Back to you, Jesse.
To red.
Mike, Ian Gavea, like you mentioned, previous champion here, went to the quarterfinals this event, so starting off his year incredibly well. And I love that. We've touched on it a few times, but Wesley's not going for the 3s and 4s. He's always going to go for the 8s and 9s, and there's not a lot of those competitors out there anymore who are pretty well happy not to play the game, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, hang on.
Here we go. Let's see what Wesley can do here. There's the section. Gets the loft, but goes down. So hasn't actually made an air since that 4.7, but essentially his make rate in this final a lot less than what we've seen in other rounds. Is that going to start to get a little bit mental here, Greg?
Yeah, I think, I must be honest, I thought this high risk type of heat strategy, it's got to catch up with you eventually. It's just impossible to go at the pace, and the extremity that he's gone every heat. And the scoreline shows that. So pressure definitely on Wesley now. And obviously advantage Hauschman. He's got priority. He's going to surf this out smartly, I feel.
I think it's a really significant final for each of these, but for different reasons as well. Wesley, this is absolutely huge for him. Making a final in the Challenger Series, comeback energy. We haven't seen him a few years away, and he's back. Looks amazing. Wild card on the CT as well in Brazil. But just for Cole, he hasn't actually got to surf that many heats this year, because when you're losing relatively early, and that's why he's here, you're not getting that much time in a heat. And no matter how good you are in free surfing or whether you're doing drills, there's no substitute for actually being in a heat. And he's made so many, obviously not just made heats, but kind of smashed out scores here, and he's looked really good. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see like a real kick from Cole on the back half of the CT this year.
No, I agree. And a lot of these guys coming from the championship tour to compete in this Challenger event was to actually just surf more heats, obviously to defend their spot on that CT, but to start to get a little bit more reps under the belt, get that confident feeling in the jersey back, because it can be stripped away quite quickly when there is a slight losing streak on that top tier. So Cole Hauschman executing the job perfectly. All he has to do is hang on to the lead for the last 4 minutes. Now, may I refresh both of your memories? This time last year, we were calling the final with George Pitter and Luke Thompson. George was winning majority of the way, but had a small backup number. Luke then finds a small left and then wins the final. And Luke getting that under George's priority as well. Is there potential for a repeat of the exact same situation here, Greg?
Oh, there's obviously the potential. There always is. Something you've got to think about is Cole Hauschman's 4.33. That was on a left. That single turn, he was incomplete. That was a huge turn. You think about a 4.23 after that, a huge turn on a right. So 2 big turns, not getting big numbers. So having a look at live action, a turn is, one big turn's probably not going to get you the 5.41. The only way Wesley can do this is a big air on a left.
Yeah, he's starting to move up and down the beach, splashing a little bit of water. So he's forcing Cole to keep that distance really close between these two surfers. Wesley, one of the best to back his ability in all kinds of ways and conditions so far this event. He's going to go to the rail. One of the first times we've seen him this week. He's going to have to kick out of there. Now Cole Hauschman, he's going to take a look at that wave. Wesley is just forcing him up and down the beach.
Yeah, Wesley's panicking a bit here, trying to go rodeos, going on like 2 foot soft lefts on the inside. Doesn't need to do that. Back yourself to find some quality. I could see him getting a right and knifing a couple of big backhand turns, maybe a way that Cole doesn't want to go, and easily get that 5.4. It's just not a big requirement. He doesn't need a 9 at the moment. We thought he would, but he actually doesn't. I just think he's panicking a little bit.
I still feel those 2 huge turns of Cole's came. I thought they were under. I thought those scores were low for those maneuvers. They were massive turns. And what it's going to mean is any single maneuver that Wesley does, that they're going to compare that to those turns of Cole. So he's got to go to the air, in my opinion.
Yeah, just over 2 minutes to go. Cole essentially has just been paddling up and down the beach for the final 2 minutes. So he'd be starting to feel a little bit gassed at this point. Like we mentioned, there is a lot at stake here. A 5.41 is something that Wesley has been getting, and then more than that, he's been consistently getting 7s, 8s, 9s for the entirety of this event. So Cole, he's actually going to stick to this defense strategy with that 4.33. Now Wesley's going to swing again. 5.41, like I mentioned, is that requirement. Takes to the air, gets the completion. It's a smaller wave though. There's that panic that we're seeing that you mentioned, Paul.
Yeah, it's not going to be the wave to do it, is it? There's just a ceiling on the score. basically to do with how much speed you can get and how high you can get that air. Essentially, that's what they're really going to be looking at when the wave's softening up like that. It's always going to keep your number down. It'll still have a bit of time. If you can get out into the lineup still, you can do it on a closeout. Just one moment for him. But Cole, so far, we're actually a little bit surprised by how vulnerable he is still in terms of scores. We were expecting him to put more numbers up. When he got that nearly a 9, wasn't it? 8.9. That feels like ages ago. He hasn't added anything to his total since then, which is a bit of a shock.
No, I completely agree. I would be feeling stressed. Even though there's a minute to go, he has priority. It's starting to look a little bit more in Cole's favour to take the win, but definitely with 10 minutes to go and your competitor's only chasing a 5.
It's to be honest, it's a game for Cole. His CT pedigree is just so high, and he's got this so under control. He's actually surfed this last 10 minutes perfectly. In fact, he hasn't surfed it. He's watched what Wesley's done. He knows, okay, that's not the score, and he's absolutely surfed this last bit perfectly.
Yeah, well, under 30 seconds to go. Essentially, all he has to do is keep Wesley off a wave of any potential of a 5-4-1 for 20 more seconds. We're starting to see the ocean, of course, pulse through a little bit more energy here. Wesley's going to have a look. Cole is going to defend here. Needs to better a 4-3-3. It's a closeout. Is there a wave out the back? We're in the final 10 seconds here. 5 on the clock. Wesley needs a score. Here's an opportunity. Does he get to his feet? It looks like he may, but goes incomplete on that final turn. It's pretty well safe to say that Cole Hausman is going to be your champion here at the Ballito Pro, presented by O'Neill for 2026. The first surfer to ever win here twice as a Challenger Series event. And what a job well done. Had to come to the Challenger Series to get a result, to make sure he's going to stay on that championship tour, and that is exactly how you want to start, Paul.
What an epic final. We just had a real treat there. Also, like I said, I think it's the final we deserve, given the quality of the waves and the surfing we've had all week. That was so entertaining. We're seeing huge airs, massive, excellent numbers going down, and you know, it means a lot to these surfers, obviously, with what's at stake in terms of their career, but surfing is supposed to be a sort of a joyful dance, isn't it? It's supposed to be fun, and those kind of tense, nervy ones, getting one maneuver, you know, slightly bettering a 5 isn't really what we hope for. We take it because it's a final and there's so much at stake, but it's so good to see surfers actually just liberating themselves and going surfing. And I mean, wow, that was absolutely incredible. Well done as well to Wesley Dunsey. He got himself an opportunity at the end there. He's been incredible. Definitely one of the stories in pro surfing from this year.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Wesley and his performances throughout this last week. But Cole Hausman, this has also got to feel incredible to have had such a rough start to the year and the championship tour, and to finally be able to just immerse yourself in that winning feeling again. Like you mentioned, Paul and Greg, just to give him that confidence to the CT. This is going to loosen him up so much when we go to Tahiti for the next stop on the tour. Oh,
absolutely. He's going to loosen right up. And, you know, he's going to go into home waters along the Californian coast next week to try and back this up. That was such a treat. I mean, that 7.83 from Wesley, 2 huge airs, the straight air, the 8.9 from Cole. What a treat. So we had amazing surfing. And then we also had amazing competitive surfing. So it was a real treat, a mix of everything in that final.
Wow, Cole Hausman, just a standout from start to finish. He's going to get the chair up, fly the flag, and what an event for him and Maddie Myers as well. The last time they were here, they won together. They haven't worked together for quite some time, but winning glory, this could be a comeback moment for this duo, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked so much about how important the coaches are as well, and you know what that's become in the last 5 years or so, how significant. Yeah, Myers will be absolutely delighted with this, but I mean, it's Cole really that had to do the work out in the water. I'm not sure whether he needs too much direction as well back from the beach. I think his game plan when he got out in the water was very much dialed in. But the significant moment, that shift down to go onto the left, and it absolutely paid off. And yeah, what a moment.
Maddie Myers, you can see Jake Marshall both cheering up Cole Hausman. Kate Matson hung around, Taj Lindblad, and Taj was a standout as well. And there's so much love and support between the Americans, and definitely one of those groups where everyone starts to break off in sort of their home countries. And America, they just were looking so dominant. And I would really attribute a lot of that to their support network here, Greg.
Yeah, they've been supporting each other. They've even had the San Clemente T-shirts made for this event, which was pretty cool. I did, it's just something I saw. I noticed them all wearing the shirts, so that's cool. You've got to have that camaraderie, that support. I mean, it's so important. It's like your goal mustn't be to do better than your friend. It must be to win the contest, and that's pretty much what they come to do. They want to win, and they want to be the best in the world.
Yeah, you can see Cole. He's just going to soak this all up. There's a swarm of people there trying to get a piece of Cole Hausman, but what a feeling for him just to be able to get that winning momentum yet again. I'm so excited to see just what this means to him. Mike Frew, take it away.
Thank you, Jesse. Straight out the water. He won this event before. He's taken all the points. I want to know exactly, how do you feel right now, Cole?
Oh, it feels amazing. This might be one of the best ones yet, just because of the year I've been having. It's been like a kind of a rough few results on the tour, and just to come here and find some rhythm and just get back in that flow. This is exactly what I wanted to do when I came over here, and yeah, honestly, it feels amazing. Like Wesley, I kind of let him start by himself, and I was like, I don't know, this might not be a good idea, and just went to go battle with him and toe to toe, and yeah, worked out. I'm freaking stoked.
You had to really go to his game. You went across there. We want to hear direct from you about that air. You went into it with so much speed. The height on that thing was next level.
Yeah, I told Myers earlier in the week, I was like, if I get a ramp, I want to do a big straight air. And it just was the perfect ramp, and I knew I was just going to have to play his game, and I have the airs in my bag. So yeah, I just went for it and stuck the landing. I thought I might break my board on the landing, but stuck it, and yeah, I was stoked. I mean, I didn't know where the score was going to go, and for me, that was just the best part of it.
We could see how much it meant to you from that claim, Cole. So, Cole, you head into Huntington Beach with a full bag of points, leading the Challenger Series. That must feel incredible after the start to the year you've had on the championship tour.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, honestly. Like I said before, this is exactly why I came here. And at the start of the trip, I woke up to fly over here, and I was like, I don't really want to go to Ballito, but I got on the plane and came over here and just put my head down and found some rhythm. And yeah, it's exactly kind of what I had in the game plan, and for it to come to fruition is amazing. And yeah, just hard work, and shout out to Myers. I've been working with him again, and yeah, it's been amazing. And all my friends and family down here, just all the boys, we've been on such a good program, and yeah, it's been amazing.
So, Cole, the culmination of a couple of days' work here, we held off to the Saturday to run the two finals. When we woke up this morning, the tide was super high. We had to hold it off. How were the waves out there with the call?
Oh, it was amazing. The winds looked a little sketchy on the forecast, and then it's just another beautiful day here. I mean, for a Challenger event, this might be one of the best ones I've ever done for how good the waves have been every single day. And yeah, something special about Ballito. I love this place.
Well, congratulations, Cole. A previous WCT winner in Brazil, a previous WCT winner in Australia, bringing their pedigree and taking out the 2026 Ballito Pro win. We're going to throw to a break now, and then we're going to come back online with the Corona Zero post show. So join us for that, and you'll see all the highlights of today. Back to you.
Welcome to KwaZulu-Natal, the destination for all seasons. Nestled on the breathtaking north coast of the Zulu Kingdom, this vibrant town offers something for everyone. KwaZulu-Natal boasts several beaches that have been awarded the prestigious Blue Flag, guaranteeing cleanliness and safety for all visitors. Our inland region offers a world of adventure. Get your adrenaline pumping with thrilling activities like ziplining, hiking and off-road biking surrounded by the natural beauty of KwaZulu-Natal's landscapes. Kids will love our animal farm, getting up close and personal with friendly animals. Immerse yourself in history as you explore the rich heritage and legacy of great leaders like King Shaka and Chief Albert Lutuli. Conveniently located just a short drive from King Shaka International Airport and Durban International Conventional Centre, making it easily accessible for both local and international delegates, with an abundance of world-class accommodation facilities, dining options and attractions nearby, you can truly make the most of your time in this magnificent region. KwaZulu-Natal, the heartbeat of the North Coast.
This is peak summer vibes here. That is a launch.
US Open's like the mecca of all of Orange County.
The pier is absolutely packed. The beach, standing room only.
Welcome in to the Corona Zero post show of what has been an absolutely incredible week down here at the Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill. We have just crowned 2 new champions this year. Cole Houshman took out the men's side of the draw, his second win here in Ballito, and Teresa Bombolo, an emotional win for her. To start off the year with a win in the Challenger Series is a major towards her just race for the championship tour. My name is Jessie Starling. I'm joined in the booth by Paul Evans and Greg Emsley. Guys, first of all, cheers to a wonderful week working with you guys. Every year I love coming here and you guys make the week super, super special. Paul, I'm going to start with you because you had incredible picks for the winners this week. Are you feeling pretty good about yourself and your picks?
Not just because of that, but I'm feeling really good. We've been treated to an incredible week here. You know, there's a bit of chat about the Challenger Series. Can be a bit punishing with some of the events. The waves aren't always as good as those real premium venues that you're actually where you're trying to get to. So maybe a little bit of a separation between the two tours. I think this has been like an incredible advert for the Challengers. Like, this place is an amazing place to host an event. We say it every year. The waves have been incredible. The surfing, and some of the stories can get a little bit predictable sometimes. You think it's going to make it through heats. From day one, we've seen upsets. We've seen dark horse energy come through. It's been brilliant. I've loved it.
Greg, for you, your standout moments?
Oh, it's been so many standout moments. I think the big airs from Wesley have been, I mean, he's been getting the hugest scores. I think the way Cole has, performed has just been phenomenal. Teresa just really fighting through every heat. I think she had just so much concentration to win this event. And then we see some of the new stories, some of the younger surfers, people like Sierra Kerr really showing up this year. And what I really liked about this event is how we got to use every aspect of the judging criteria. We've had heavy surf, we've had tube rides and crazy airs. So we've really, really had to look at all of that.
Well, like I mentioned, Cole Houshman was the winner of the men's. So we're going to take a look at the men's final bracket because it actually was quite a hard journey for Cole to take the victory here. Started off in the quarterfinals against Ian Gavea, who has won here before. then took down Jarvis Earl, who was just in fine form here in Ballito, and then Wesley Dantes, who we've said time and time again was the dark horse, but even just the top 8 in the quarterfinals, Paul, anyone could have taken a win and you wouldn't have been surprised.
No, but we have been talking about the CT surfers coming in and what's different about them, and I would identify Cole as someone that wouldn't be too worried about whoever he's coming up against, regardless of what they've done in the previous round. I just think he's earned the right to have that much confidence and not to be too worried about his opponent. But hey, he mentioned in his interview that he knew that he was going to see this kind of stuff from King Duntas, so it was definitely in his mind, and that's why he made the switch down the beach, and then this happened, Grego.
Yeah, Cole, but I loved this single maneuver from Cole. It was just the 4-3-3. If he had done a bit more of that, he could have bumped that score up, but loved the power base.
And then for Wesley to start off with this 7-8-3, this was a big moment for Cole to go, okay, I need to paddle down the beach and apply some pressure, Paul.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you set out your tactic, but you also make a point where, well, when do I go to plan B? A reset. What would make me rethink and go, you know what? I actually need to mix this up now. And that was the exact moment to do it. He still had enough time left. Actually, it's interesting to see how few waves he actually rode after this moment as well. So crucial. How many other waves like this came through for the rest of the heat? Maybe none. Maybe there weren't any other ramps actually like that. So to be there, I mean, we talk about luck and fortune and the random nature, but you kind of got to make that happen for yourself. That's an absolutely massive straight air, which is so cool. We see a lot of rotations. Don't see loads of them. What a way to win an event.
Yeah, I mean, Cole Houseman, you can tell he has a lot of support in his corner. Working with Matty Myers again this year, having another win here between the two of them would just feel exceptional for what it is, an amazing combo. Cole Houseman, there's the final results, 8-9 and a 4-3-3. We were nervous about that 4-3-3 for a little while, but it was enough to get the win over Wesley Dantes.
Can I make another bold prediction about Cole Houseman?
Please.
He would likely finish in the top 10. I've seen he's won an event, but who knows? But he won't need that anyway. So if he is inside the top 10 on the challenge, he's going to re-qualify through the CT. So good news for surfers down in 11 or 12, because I don't think he'll need to take his spot. I think he's going to do it through the CT.
I love this. I can't wait to get more of Paul's predictions. We're going to
that's it. That's all I got.
What? Oh, well, that's a bummer, isn't it? Well, let's take a look at the women's side of the draw and lighten the mood again, because it was a stacked field as well on that women's side. I mean, just like Cole, Teresa didn't have an easy just draw to go to the final. She had to start off with Eden Waller in the quarterfinals, which we were calling that she was pretty well going to take this one out. Then she came up against Sol Aguirre in the semi-finals, and then, of course, the all-Portuguese women final. The Euros kicking off with a bang again, Greg.
Yeah, it's a huge result for them, and both Teresa and Kika had very tough heats. To get through. They had on-form surfers, they had local favourites. I mean, Kika had to take down Sarah Baum in a very strong heat. But yeah, all in all, it was a good battle, many rounds of surfing, and Teresa really doing well with strong surfing on her backhand. Big, powerful vertical turns, and coming out the champion. She worked hard for this one.
And Teresa just was so cool, calm, collected this whole time, Paul.
Yeah, I think, I think there's a bit of turmoil, inner turmoil. We heard, some glimpses of that, a bit of insight in her interview as well afterwards. I think she's been, on a bit of an emotional ride last couple of seasons, and what an outlet for it as well. What a way to express yourself back to form, coming up against someone that you know a lot about. We talked about the rivalries as well. They're friends, sure, but seeing someone younger than you come up sort of after you, kind of take your spot, that's how you got to feel about it when you're at this level. So this will feel great for her. Just another interesting point as well about that bracket, just two surfers from the 8 coming from the CT. That's a surprise for us. We would expect, maybe at least half. It's what we've seen here in the past. It is surfers with a CT experience that have tended to dominate, but in this final, it was Teresa that did it.
Yeah, there's just a lot of emotion that we saw as soon as Teresa hit the sand, and there would definitely be a little bit of inner turmoil, like you mentioned, Paul, to see Yolanda and Kika both on that CT and to not be there. You can see it really lit this new inner fire for Teresa, Greg.
Yeah, she's amped, and also to surf against these other girls and the CT surfers, it will really make her feel that she should be part of that tour, and she's going to have a great run from here. And it is a good talking point, having the Championship Tour surfers joining us in this event. It shows you how strong and how high the level is at Challenger surfer level. And it's going to get an even bigger following now that we've got so many big names to look forward to and how they can take it to the higher ranked surfers.
The other thing I think is quite interesting about Teresa as well, I mean, you look at those numbers in the funnel, they're pretty much, they're not big scores. She had moments throughout the event, but we didn't really see her best surfing, actually. I would say by her own standards, she wasn't even really close to that. So there's a couple of ways you can take that. But one thing I find interesting is sometimes you just wonder, like, where's my luck? Like, how am I'm in form, I'm not making heats. And it's that one thing that you can't really do much about, the change. And when you go all the way to win an event, there are a couple of moments where you were exposed, your opponent needed a 4 or 5, and they couldn't quite do it, they fell. I think maybe those are the things where you think, well, this could be my season, the stars are aligning, everything's starting to click for me.
Just because myself, Greg, and the fans really do want more Paul's predictions, so I'm going to make it happen. The 4 finalists that we saw today, Cole, Wesley, obviously Teresa and Kika, do you see them going back-to-back results between here and the US Open?
Well, I mean, Cole would be a heavy favourite at the US Open. Elsewhere, I'm not so sure. I think we might see new finalists.
Okay, can you give me a name?
Not at this stage, no.
Devo, Greg, can you give me a name? Someone who you think's going to go out and just blaze the US Open?
I think I did give you a name already, Sierra Kerr.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go Eden Waller.
My bad. Oh, love this. Love this. I just think both of those women have so much potential, especially there's going to be a little bit of size, and both of them do tend to thrive when the waves get a bit bigger. Let's take a look at our Women's Challenger Series rankings. Teresa Bombolo sits on top with a win here from today. Kiki Veselko, second. Sol Aguirre, third. And then as we start to look down the list, a couple of names that I really like the look of being in that top 10. One of them being Laura Rupp-Paul.
Yeah, she's been blazing, actually. She's been in really good form. Unlucky to get that injury. She was dealing with some serious pain. We saw her go out and just smash heats, get like massive scores, and then could barely walk up the beach here at Ballito. She was hobbling. So if you think she can surf like that when physically she's feeling some discomfort, imagine what she's going to do when she's back to full form.
Let's talk about the Canadian, Greg. Sanoa Demphley-Olin. We'd love to see another Canadian surfer on the championship tour.
Yeah, she's actually surprised me in this event. Got some good scores, a couple of good heat wins as well. So she's definitely up there, and be interesting to see how she tackles the rest of the Challenger.
I'll be the first to mention the Aussies in there, Sierra Kerr and Ellie Harrison. Stoked to see a couple of Aussie flags flying in that women's side as well. There's a couple of surfers who you'd have to think will probably have to stand up pretty well at the US Open. Some of those CT women like we spoke about. But someone who was well and truly in that conversation for qualification was Soph McCulloch. Didn't have that solid start at this event. So you'd have to think maybe the US Open, it's her time to shine.
Yeah, I mean, 5 events, you're already into the second one. Kind of at that stage, you really want to have something, just show yourself a bit of form. Obviously, the points are important as well, but build up a bit of momentum on this tour. We did mention about the events coming in clusters. The US Open's coming up real soon, and then after that, bit of a gap before we go Brazil and then Portugal. So out of this kind of double header, if you didn't get a result here, you really need to step up in California.
Let's take a look at the men's rankings as well, because this one, really interesting. Obviously, in number 1 is going to be Cole Houshman, CT surfer. And then we start to look down the list. Some names that I personally love in this top 10, Jarvis Earl, Taj Lindblad, of course Wesley Dantes, but Jackson Bunch. I think there would be surf fans across the world who would be stoked to see him have another crack at that CT, Greg.
Yeah, Jackson was definitely a dark horse, not a dark horse, but one that I was earmarking to win this event. He was lightning fast. He actually sort of got caught up in the Wesley Dantes display and matched him down the beach. He should have just stayed on that right-hander. I reckon he could have won the heat like that. But Jackson's, I think he's going to find himself back on the CT for sure. Dane Henry, absolute standout, and for me, someone that surprised me, and I really enjoyed their surfing. Not surprised me, but I haven't seen that much of his Taj Lindblad. I loved his power-based surfing. I love that he's got a bit of size and a bit of muscle and power behind him, and I think he's going to be a surfer that's going to really, if he can get to the CT, will suit those sort of waves.
Jackson also feels like someone who'd really benefit from getting that full tour as well. Obviously, he got cut, but how versatile he is. I think if he can qualify and get a full swing, I think he's going to thrive on that tour.
Well, guys, it's time to officially crown some champions, and let's get down to the stage with Mike Frew.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm down here on the beach, on the podium, with the finalists and the winners. So let's get on to the prize giving on the 2026 Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill. Welcome to the awards presentation for the Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill. Stop number 1 of the WSL Challenger Series. We'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to O'Neill, the presenting sponsors of this event, as well as KwaZulu-Natal Municipality. Thank you to our event sponsors, SMG Yamaha, Corona Sierra, and North Coast Courier. A massive thanks to the event organizer, Colette Bundy, and her team, as well as to the entire WSL Africa team. Special thank you to the local community of Ballito and the surfers who share this incredible place with us. And thank you, the fans who came out in their thousands today on the beach to watch and celebrate this incredible event with us. To help us present the awards on the left-hand side of the stage, my left, I've got, just put your hand up there, that's Paul Canning. He's the brand director from O'Neill. And then I've got Travis Logie, the WSL Tours and Competitions Manager. Let's give them a big round of applause. Paul in particular put so much into putting this event together. Thank you, PC, and for everything that you do. We're going to go straight into the awards presentation, starting with the second place on the men's side. So coming second in the men's from Ubatuba in Brazil, it's his Ballito Pro debut. It's his first time in Ballito, and his first ever Challenger Series final. Let's give a big round of applause. Congratulations. Second place in the Ballito Pro, Wesley Dantes. Wesley is a very quiet spoken man, so I'm only going to give him an opportunity to speak in Portuguese, his home language.
Thank you, everybody. Thank WSL of opportunity. Yeah, speak Portuguese. Obrigado a todos. Vamos que vamos. O SOP está aí, vamos embora e dar bastante aéreo, com certeza, e levar o Brasil ao topo do ranking da Challenge Series. See you!
Congratulations, Wesley. You really entertained us this event. In the women's runner-up from Cacavelas in Portugal, her second Challenger Series final after her Newcastle win in 2024. She's a 2026 rookie on the World Championship Tour. Big round of applause coming second. The women's runner-up, Francesca Vasalco. Francesca, I'm going to give an opportunity as well to talk to the crowd and in your own language as well.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys for coming down to the beach. It's been an amazing energy all these days. The second place feels a bit bittersweet. Of course, I was looking for the first place, but really happy to start off the Challenger Series season with a second. I'll take that. Yeah, and this is a historical moment for Portugal, me and Teresa in the final. So yeah, I'm just really happy regardless of the result, and congratulations to you. I know you've been through so much and you really deserve this moment, and I'm happy to be sharing it with you. So yeah, let's just keep going. This is just a beginning. The US Open's just around the corner, so just keep this momentum, consistency, and hopefully requalify on tour.
Francesca Vasalco. Now on to the men's winner. He's from San Clemente in California. He's the winner of the 2023 Ballito Pro. He's the first person to win the Challenger Series here in Ballito twice. He's a current World Championship Tour surfer with 2 wins. He won the CT in Brazil. He's won the CT at Bells Beach. Congratulations to the 2026 Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill winner, Cole Hauschman. Congratulations, Cole. Paul, you might need to help. That trophy's really heavy.
Yeah, thank you guys. This week's been amazing, and the event's been pumping. It's been probably the best challenger I've ever done as far as waves. And yeah, congrats to everyone in the final. It's been an amazing run, and especially Wesley. It's hard surfing against someone who's that good and that freakish in the air. And I kind of let him do his own thing, thinking I'm going to stick to my game plan on the right. And he landed a couple airs, and I was like, oh boy, I better go over there. So yeah, just congrats to him. Thank you for pushing me. And yeah, it's been amazing. This is kind of like exactly what I kind of wanted to do when I flew over here off from the tour, just to make some heats, find some flow, and back myself up. So yeah, congrats to everyone. It's been an amazing event, and thank you.
Thank you, Cole. Another round of applause for our men's winner. Then on to our women's winner. She's from Cascais in Portugal. She was a 2024 Olympian when they had the Olympics in Chopu. She's got a second in the Challenger Series final since 2022 Sydney Surf Pro win. Winning the 2026 Ballito Surf Pro presented by O'Neill. Big round of applause for Teresa Bonvalo. Will you be able to hold the mic?
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, supporting us. I mean, it's amazing to see everyone already here at 8 a.m. waiting for us to go get our waves. And I mean, it's just unreal. And I think that just makes it more special for all of us. And yeah, it's been a unreal these last few years as well. And I just try to enjoy the moment and every day here with all my crew. They are the best, obviously, so thank you to you too. And everyone at home as well that supports me and that it's not here in presence, but it's always in my heart. So yeah, it's just amazing, once again, as Kika said, sharing a final, making history for Portugal. I think that has been going a big thing from a few years, and showing up again all the level that we have from back home, and showing all around the world a small country. It's not just football, it's not just soccer, it's surfing too. So yeah, thank you everyone.
Another round of applause for our winners. So that's a wrap for the 2026 Ballito Pro presented by O'Neill. It's been great having everybody share this with us. Enjoy the rest of the beautiful middle of winter day here on the beach in Ballito. That's a wrap. I'm going to throw it back to the Corona Zero post show. Back to you, Jessie.
Thank you, Mike, and congratulations to all of our champions, everyone who is involved in what has been a remarkable event. Just pretty cool to see everyone just lapping up this festival of surfing. And like you mentioned, Paul, this has been the best start to the Challenger Series.
Yeah, incredible. Like, great energy as well. And, you know, you come here on this tour and you want to kind of make your mark. Obviously, here to get points, but it's also about kind of measuring yourself against everyone else. Like, where's my level at for the year? Where's this tour going to be? How am I? And, like, sometimes you don't really get a chance. You know, 4 surfers in the heat, the early rounds, might not get many waves. But to have such consistent waves, pretty big, but just to have so many waves going down in the heat as well, I think gave everyone a chance to express themselves. And it's the surfers that we figured would be a good match for this wave. Particularly, they've done really well because it's almost been like a more concentrated version of itself this year. It's been like more Ballito-like than ever, Greg.
Yeah, it's definitely been the best Ballito ever on consistency. It's just been, every day has been pumping. We've seen surf. We kicked off the actual Ballito Pro with our junior events. The first day was too big, actually. It was like 12 feet, just huge. And then we had perfect waves. And ever since then, it's just been every single day has been cooking. It's been firing. It's been solid. And I just feel like, on a percentage basis, we've kicked the Challenger Series off. Feels like it's 15, maybe even 20% better from where we left off from our last event. It's like jumped a couple of notches.
No, I totally agree. And obviously, Greg, last year, this event made history with adding Luke Thompson to the list of winners here for South Africans, but making history again, having an all-Portuguese women's final.
Yeah, it's constant history. It's fantastic. And listening to the interviews, I was just thinking the amount of emotion and what it takes to get to that podium. It's hours of surfing. It's hours of reps. It's and even when you do that, you still might not get there because everyone's so good. So well done to our winners and our runner-ups. You guys did a fantastic job, and that was such a treat. It was really a treat watching this event.
Well, I'm sad that this event has come to an end, but I'm getting excited because we're rolling into more professional surfing very quickly. This is what we are to expect for the US Open.
This is peak summer vibes here. That is a launch.
The US Open's like the mecca of all of Orange County.
The pier is absolutely packed. The beach, standing room only.
Yeah, the US Open is just around the corner. It is starting July 25th. It's going to August 2nd. We spoke about this being a festival of surfing. We're backing it up pretty quickly with the US Open, Paul.
Yeah, people flying from here straight there, so significant in the fact that your form you will get to carry over. But yeah, I'm psyched for that event. I just think Chris Cote on his skateboard, eating a burrito. What's not to love about the US Open?
Yeah, it's an epic event, and it's actually, you talk about flying from here directly to there. You've got a bit of jet lag. It's going to take a bit of time. The surf's a bit different. Water temperature a little bit colder generally.
All right. And still fun.
Yeah, it is very fun. Of course, a lot going on. It's a huge festival. And California, everyone wants to go to California, right?
Well, like I mentioned, it is more than a surf comp. We're also going to see the longboards compete there, but there is a music festival on, so live music is returning it to the US Open. You can scan that QR code and get your tickets. Definitely don't want to miss out and get amongst it. It's so cool that we're seeing surf comps just build entirely more and more each year. And I actually feel like that's kind of what surf comps were. You correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, back in the day where it was music and surfing and everyone coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this event's kind of been like that as well, but that's what surf comps should be. You want to have fun. It's you competing and it's the whole surf culture. It's not just a sport. It's a culture. It's a lifestyle, and that's pretty much sums up what surfers are.
Well, guys, like I mentioned, I'm getting sad that it's coming to an end, but we get to reflect on our top 5 moments of the event so far. Of course, number 5 has to come into the locals who have just been the stars of the show the entire time. It's the Dolphin Coast, and every single year it delivers here, Greg.
Yeah, beautiful. The bottlenose dolphin showing off here and just showing us that this is their playground too. And they also want to have a bit of fun in the waves, and it's so awesome to see. It's just so much life, and the water is just amazing in this region.
Yeah, Sally got to share a moment with the Dolphins as well. Wow, just reflecting on how solid it was throughout this week. That is a big wave that Sally got to share that with the Dolphin. Coming in at number 4 was Sierra Kerr, who's come back from illness and is just surfing so strong, Paul.
She is so back. She looked amazing in the early rounds. Bit of a surprise, really, not to see her go all the way here. Just the way she was competing, surfing, really enjoying herself. I mean, you would think she has to be a lock-in for the CT.
Yeah, just her technique, her poise, where she's placing her turns. It really is that level above. It's that CT class that we're chasing. That second turn in particular had so much drift. So Sierra is well and truly back. She has arrived to the Challenger Series this season. Coming in at number 3 of course, has to be this guy, Wesley Dantes, Greg.
Oh, Wesley put on such a show. Look at this. Just massive alley-oop. Comes around and just resets the feet into the rotation. So he was just having so much fun. He must have ridden about 200 waves in this event in total. And look at that. The height is just crazy. So much control. I love the foot movement. And then into the air rotation and a clean finish. So he really did spoil the crowd here.
He gave us multiple two airs in one wave throughout this entire event, Paul.
Yeah, he just had so much in the tank. We did speculate, maybe just ran out a little bit of that in the final. I mean, you think about how high risk these maneuvers are. Maybe, with hindsight, you could say I peaked a little early just with the semi-performance and the scores. But, you know, second here is a massive result for him. That's career-defining.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do over at the US Open. Just how far he can push up the rankings for the rest of the season as well. So Wesley Dantes definitely put his name on the map for the Challenger Series this year. Coming in at number 2 is someone who just stole our hearts this entire week, Teresa Bombalot, Greg.
Yeah, Teresa really surfed so well in this event. She competed well, and I'm really happy to see someone that's put in so much work and so much dedication take the win, and it meant a lot to her. And maneuvers like this got her the win. Precise surfing, and she got better and better throughout the event, and so stoked to see her on the podium and taking the win. And there you see how much it means to her.
Yeah, love just that Portuguese flag flying. Like we've mentioned, this is such a moment for the Portuguese women. And of course, coming in at number 1, Cole Hausman, just absolutely dominating, Paul.
Yeah, incredible. Different ways of doing it as well. He was pretty open about that, wasn't he, afterwards in his interview? He said he had to go down there and mix it because that's what Wesley forced him to do. But yeah, we talked earlier in the week. He's the best surfer here, the most skilled, and just experience at the very highest level. And the thing with consistent surfers, if you give surfers of this caliber enough opportunities, that they will show you just how good they are. And he's a very deserved champion.
Yeah, Cole Hausman mentioned he didn't want to get on the plane to come and compete here, but I bet you he's glad he's did. So Cole, he's leading the rankings. He's going to probably go and compete in the US Open and maybe seal the deal to be back on that championship tour. The backup plan looking incredible. Guys, just one last cheers, because I really, really, really love you guys, and I love coming to South Africa and working with you guys every single year. So cheers to you guys. Another cheers to the US Open, which is going to be July 25th through to August 2nd. So the Lexus US Open of Surfing presented by Pacifico. Until then, thanks for tuning into the show, and we'll see you guys next time. Here's some highlights that you guys get to enjoy.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.